Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar on how to successfully submit an abstract to the Biomedical HIV Prevention Summit. We're so glad that you're all here today. And I am Allison McKeithen, Assistant Director of Conferences. I'm joined here by my colleague Diane Ferguson, who also will be answering questions during the presentation. So before we get into everything, I just want to welcome everyone to submit your questions in the chat. You'll see a chat function to your right-hand side of your screen. You just want to click on that and enter any questions you have during the presentation. We will take the time to respond to those questions during the end of the presentation. But we do have some folks who might be able to respond during the webinar, so just keep a lookout in the chat for those responses. If not, then we'll respond to them at the end. Next on our housekeeping list is a survey. At the conclusion of this webinar, we will have a survey so you can let us know how we did during this webinar. We'd love to get positive remarks, but if not, we also love some creative criticism as well, so we can do a little bit better next time. And third, this webinar is being recorded and we will post it on our website after the next day. So you can look forward to getting this information again. If you miss anything, you can have it to go back to. All right, let's get started. So I'm breaking this webinar up into two parts. Part one is how to write an abstract. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that and what we're looking for. And part two will be how to submit it, which is all after you write everything, where you're going to put it in, how do you submit it, and make sure that you're in contention for the review and possibly being accepted for presentation. Let's get into it. Most importantly, to get this abstract submitted and written, you should visit our website, biomedicalhivsummit.org. It has all the information that we're giving today, in addition to some tips and sample abstracts as well, just to give you more of a reference and frame of mind for what we're looking for. And really what's important on this site is our track descriptions that we'll go through in just a moment. This year, our conference is going to lean more into sex. What do we enjoy as pleasure? What do we enjoy sexually? Because these are places where people have conversations around HIV prevention. And so we want to make sure that we bring our conversation back to that this year, as we've kind of gotten away from it a little bit, but we want to make sure that we re-engage people because this is the primary transmission of HIV in our communities. So with that, we've developed the following tracks to lean into those conversations. You'll see them listed here. I won't go through them one by one. However, you'll see that we do have a wide range of topics and some that are specifically focused on particular populations. Reading the track descriptions online is extremely important because it is a major clue into how we score your abstract. So it's important to get a great understanding of these tracks and then think about what you want to submit on and select the track that best matches your particular topic. If you select something that doesn't quite fit into that particular track, then it'll be more difficult for us to give you a fair score because the reviewers will be looking at it based on the requirements for that track, not necessarily how great your abstract was, okay? If you have questions about those tracks, you can absolutely send us questions at conferences@nmac.org, and we'll do our best to respond to your questions about the tracks descriptions and where your track and your topic might best fit. At the summit, we have one presentation type, which is the workshop. Those are an hour-and-a-half presentations in lecture format. We do have workshop rooms where we offer screens, laptops for people to present their topics. So we want to make sure that the format that you have or the presentation that you have lends itself to that format. of presentation. So when you write your abstract, consider that this is the format it will be presented in, and make sure that there's nothing that's confusing about how you want to deliver that information in the workshop format. So if you're talking about breakout rooms or breakout sessions or something like that in your abstract, it doesn't quite match our workshop format. So you might want to try to tailor it a little bit more to what we do have as far as the workshop presentation type. As you write your abstract, another important piece to consider is the level. You will have to select the level that best matches the content of your presentation, which should match what is the attendee's highest level of understanding needed in order to grasp your concept. You can choose between beginner levels, intermediate level, or an advanced level. For a beginner level workshop, that person should not need any prior knowledge of the topic in order to understand what you're presenting. However, if you select that you're presenting advanced level information, you would expect that this person has a high degree of understanding about the community or the topic that you're speaking of, so that the information is not lost on them and that they can converse on a higher level of understanding with your content. So please make sure that you select the proper level so that people understand what they're getting into when they decide to see your presentation. Under the workshop format, we accept two types of abstract submissions. These formats are decided based on the content of the abstract. We split them into two. We have scientific-based content and community-based content. And we look for different type of information based on the topic, the format type that you select. If you select a scientific type of program or format, we'll be looking for information concerning a program, project, or study. The content of your abstract should give the methods or strategies used by your program. They should describe the objective outcomes of your program, project, or study. If you have any quantifiable data, we would want to see that information as well. And the conclusion of that study or program. What was the result? If you select that you're submitting a community-based format, then we would look for the description talking about broader issues in the community, a problem, broader issue area problem, or community need. We would be looking for you to give us specific issues or problems that you will teach or discuss. We'll look for the learning objectives of what the audience will learn. And we'll ask you to provide information about the teaching or discussion strategies and methods that you'll be using to educate those attendees. So again, going back to the content of your abstract, this is what we're looking for in the four major parts of your abstract as you write them. First, you'll see the workshop description, whether it's scientific or community-based. We want to make sure that your topic is clearly explained. Consider it to be like an advertisement for your abstract. What do you want people to understand or know about your topic off the break? If accepted, this is what attendees will read to get information about your presentation and decide whether or not they want to attend it. So please take this very seriously. Please, review it and write it as if people are reading this for the first time and you want them to come in your abstract and to see your presentation. So just keep that in mind as you write and submit. Next, whether you're submitting for scientific or community, we're looking for you to give us the methods or issues. We want you to make sure you keep it relevant to your topic. What is the issue you are addressing? Why is this relevant? Under results or learning objectives, what skills would you like the attendees to have by the end of your workshop? We want to write those out. We'd love to see at least 3 learning objectives. If you have results, we want to know like what results did you find from your study or program. Explain those to us so that we can get a better idea of what those folks need to learn when they attend your workshop. And in conclusions, how do you plan to educate them? Are you using worksheets? Are you giving them activities? Are you asking them questions? How are you doing it? Are you just lecturing to them? What is the method? What is the plan for them to actually meet the objectives that you mentioned previously? If they're building skills, how are you helping them build the skills? What are you doing? What's your strategy? And just a few tips. Start writing early. Make sure you proofread it. Have your colleagues review the abstract. And in case you work for a pharmaceutical company, we don't accept pharmaceutical abstracts. If you have any questions about that, you feel free to email conferences@mmac.org, and we'll gladly, speak to you about your situation and make sure that you're not violating any of the conference policies around accepting pharmaceutical abstracts. All right. And these are just a few tips to make sure that things are that they look good, that they read well. You definitely don't want to do this at the last minute before the end of before the submission date. Okay, so take your time to write your abstract. So now, part 2, how do you submit this information you've written up? You've written a fantastic abstract at this point. Now it's time to actually submit it to us so that we can review it. Let's see. First thing you need to know is that our deadline is February 6th. Okay, again, you don't want to wait till the deadline to start writing your abstract. You want to start immediately, get it together, and so by the time the deadline comes, you're ready to just push it in and hit submit on time. Again, you want to visit our website. Our website has a button where you can submit an abstract. You'll see here it's a purple button. Once you click that purple button, it will take you into our submission system. This year, we're using a system called Submittable. It's a widely known and widely used system. It's open source, so you can create, you may have already submitted something through Submittable, but if you haven't, this is your opportunity to click in, you create your own profile, it's free, and we have a few instructions about what you can do in order to make sure that you have the best experience using Submittable. This is what the site looks like. You are able to save draft formats. You are able to go back and edit those formats as needed before the submission date comes. The best sites to use the Submittable on are Google Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. If you don't have those browsers, those are all free. Please download them so you can have the best experience. Using any other browsers might cause errors or cause information not to submit properly. So we highly encourage you to use one of those 3 platforms. And as you go through the form, after you create your profile and with your email address, you're going to go through the form. You're going to complete everything that has a red asterisk before you hit submit, so that we get all the pertinent information. You might be wondering, well, what do you look for? Here we go. So here's our submission form. You scroll down, you'll see the information I just gave you. You can save your drafts. You can withdraw as well if you need to. You can also edit the form. You can click submit and go back at any point up to our deadline which is February 6th. Okay, so you want to make sure that you read carefully, and if you have any questions, you can send those questions to us directly or through Submittable. You're required to put in your name, your organization, title, your address, your physical address, city, state, zip code, a phone number, and an email. And this information is needed by the primary submitter. We also ask for demographic information that is not required. However, it is good information for us to have because we like to know who our presenters and who our submitters are. We like to have diverse presenters. As you just saw there, our track description requirements, submitting our workshop title. We also have a place for you to put in your presenters, your co-presenters. And we ask that you submit a resume or CV with your abstract submission. The last question is, have you presented this topic at another conference? If you click yes, there'll be a drop down for you to be able to submit the topic, the conference title. And then you're able to click submit and submit your abstract. Once you hit submit, you'll see this beautiful page here that says success. It has been submitted to us. We have your abstract. You will also get an email confirmation of this submission. It's a simple email, just let you know that we've received it and we'll be reviewing it and that our decisions won't be sent before March 1st. All right. So congratulations, you submitted. What's next? Your abstract will be reviewed by the program committee. This program committee is made up of 12 people from around the HIV community who are experts on various topics. That committee will be reviewing all the abstracts, and they'll convene to decide which abstracts best meet the programmatic criteria. And these are the few things that they'll be reviewing it on. How interactive is your abstract for the attendees? Does it align with the selected track's goals or description? Is it relevant to today's issues? Does it have innovative ideas? Is it essential for people who work in HIV prevention? And whether or not you give clear objectives and narratives. Again, this is why it's important to start early so you have plenty of time to review what you're writing and submitting, and that you can have your peers also review it and make sure that it just really hits home with what you want us to understand about your information, about your topic. Okay. And we'll be sending out notifications in the beginning of March about your abstract acceptance. And if you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to us after the webinar at conferences@mmac.org. And that is all the content we have for today. We will be going through the chat and responding to questions at this time. So if you have anything, go ahead and submit it. If not, maybe someone already asked the question and we'll be responding to those in just a second. Chip, do you have any questions for us in the chat?
We had one question that I did respond to, but let me, it might be one that everyone's interested in. For clarification on the 1.5 hour workshop, is that 1.5 hour for each presenter or will they be grouped together for the 1.5 hours?
So we do, if you submit an abstract that is accepted, you have the entire 1.5 hour time slot for your presentation. We don't split them amongst other abstract submissions. I know other conferences do that, but if we accept you, you have that entire time slot to present that topic.
Okay, we've had one question about receiving a copy of this presentation, and just let everyone know this webinar is being recorded. It will be posted tomorrow on the Summit website on the abstracts page. Can workshops be in Spanish, and does the abstract submission have to be in Spanish?
Yes, if you want to submit your abstract in Spanish, you are welcome to do that. It will be reviewed by Spanish-speaking reviewers, and we would expect that you present your presentation in Spanish. If you're not Spanish-speaking, please don't submit your abstract in Spanish or tell us that you're going to present it in Spanish. If you're going to present in Spanish, please submit in Spanish.
Someone's saying, I would like to do a presentation on self-care with interactive participation, but don't see a track.
Unfortunately, if you have specific questions like that, I would prefer you email that or call me and we can discuss that offline. It's a little difficult for me to respond to that question because I don't have all the details about your abstract.
If accepted, are conference fees waived, reduced, or other?
If accepted, we do offer each accepted presentation a scholarship. So one person that you can decide will receive a comp registration, flight, and hotel accommodations for 2 nights at the conference.
And we have a question about if the tracks are listed on the website, and they're on the abstracts page of the website.
Yes, the track descriptions are on the abstracts tab.
Can we submit art-based abstracts like a documentary screening or oral storytelling?
Absolutely, but you have to submit it in the same format as all the other abstracts. And if you have additional information, like if you want to submit that piece of art or the screening, we have places for you to enter the link or to upload that format onto into the submittable database. And we do have specific formats that would need to be submitted under, and those are on the submittable site as well.
Can the abstract be in English but workshop be in Spanglish or bilingual?
If you want to present in Spanish, you are welcome to present in Spanish, but we need to have the abstract in Spanish.
What are some of the effective ways to interact with the audience using your technology equipment?
Interactive ways. I mean, we have PowerPoint interactions. I will really leave those up to you. I don't know what kind of content you have or what you're trying to present on. So it's a little difficult for me to come up with ideas on how to make something interactive for you in a presentation here. If you have questions about that, you are absolutely welcome to email me offline and we can talk about that if your abstract's accepted.
Is there any way to get audience feedback or comments during the presentation?
I won't say during the presentation unless you have some kind of software that you would like to introduce for them to respond. There's a lot of different audience response software out here. That's totally up to you to kind of procure and handle that. But we do have surveys that we send out to our attendees and have them respond to those surveys and give you the results post-conference.
Can we have co-writers? Is there a limit of how many people can be involved?
There are no limits on co-writers. As far as presenters, we do try to have people limited to 4. It's just an hour-and-a-half presentation, so we try to keep it as simple as possible, but there is no official limit.
Okay, we don't have any other questions at the moment.
All right, great. Like Chip said, this content will be posted on our website tomorrow, and I am available to answer your questions and respond to them. If there's something very specific to your workshop or to your concepts that you need answered, please feel free to email me or call me, and we can have that discussion offline about that topic. My email is amckeithen@nmac.org. That's amckeithen@nmac.org. amckeithen@nmac.org. Or you can email the email you see there, conferences@nmac.org, and I'll be happy to respond and try to get you the best answers possible for your abstract submission. Chip, anything else come in?
Yeah, we have one other question. If you're accepted to present, but you have already registered, will the registration be refunded?
We ask people not to register because it does make refunding a little bit more difficult. So if you haven't registered, that's great. You'll have plenty of time to register if you find out that you are not accepted for the conference. Okay?
Nope. And we've had a few more questions come in.
Okay.
For clarity, these are only 1.5-hour workshops.
Correct.
Is there only one scholarship awarded per abstract, even if there are co-writers?
Correct.
Right. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I don't think I have other questions at the moment.
All right. Well, I hope that you found this presentation helpful. And if not, again, please reach out to us. Thank you for being here. We look forward to reading your abstracts and seeing all this wonderful content that you have for the conference. Our attendees really look forward to this conference every year and seeing kind of what's new and exciting out there in the world of HIV prevention. So thank you so very much. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.